Katy Perry went to space, and the internet sent her straight back down. What was meant to be a triumphant moment, an all-female, high-profile Blue Origin flight, quickly turned into one of the most mocked celebrity stunts in recent memory.
Let's not minimize this.
11 minutes above Earth, a daisy, a monologue, and an avalanche of memes.
Jeff Bezos basically put his girlfriend and her pals into a giant vibrator, shot them into orbit for 10 minutes, and they came back telling all about the thrill.
For Katy Perry, this wasn't just a space ride. It was a collision with the internet's most brutal reality. Once you become the meme, you don't get to pick your orbit. It started with a press blitz. Katy Perry, pop icon and cultural lightning rod, joined 5 other women was supposed to be a bold celebration. Katy Perry, alongside 5 other high-profile women, took flight on Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket for an all-female flight. A short one, 11 minutes to be exact.
Now that the ladies are back from space,
Thank you for having me. What were they up there, 10 minutes?
Well, it was very profound. I don't know.
No orbit, no moon landing, just a brief float above the atmosphere of the spacecraft. The branding was unmistakable. The first all-female space crew, a tribute to empowerment, unity, and progress. During the ride, Katy sang "What a Wonderful World," held up her tour setlist to the camera, and floated with a daisy in hand. Her PR team pushed it as a feminist milestone. Some media outlets even called it historic. Oprah cried.
Oprah watching her best friend go to space.
But back on Earth, not everyone was clapping. Katy floated in 0 gravity. She held up a set list for her upcoming tour to the camera. She carried a daisy, a symbol, she later said, of love for her daughter, for the Earth, and for resilience. PR teams called it transformational. Media outlets called it historic. Oprah Winfrey wept, but not everyone was impressed. In fact, most people weren't. The moment they landed, Katy dropped to her knees and kissed the Texas dirt. She called it one of the most profound experiences of her life, second only to giving birth. Fans were baffled, critics were brutal. Social media lit up like launch control. Dressed in designer suits, holding symbolic flowers, the crew turned what could have been a tribute to female astronauts into what many saw as a glorified influencer. She described feeling a deep connection to the universe, love, and womanhood. Joe Rogan shredded it live on his podcast.
Back from space.
What were they up there, 10 minutes?
What were her findings? He asked.
What were her findings? That's my question.
Well,
what did
brought
she
a
learn?
daisy, which is super important. It shows you how quick the flight was.
Tim Dillon just laughed.
Something's off with her.
No, it's good.
What about the hatch?
The FAA added fuel to the fire by announcing none of the passengers qualified as astronauts. Why? They didn't operate anything. They were along for the ride, but the public reaction? Brutal. Many saw her actions not as empowering, but performative. The juxtaposition was impossible to ignore. While millions struggled with rising prices, stagnant wages, and an uncertain future, a billionaire-funded trip to space was being celebrated as a feminist revolution. Meanwhile, Wendy's official Twitter posted 4 savage words. Can we send her back? Critics didn't just question the symbolism, they questioned the substance. What exactly had these women done besides float around in designer suits for 11 minutes? Suddenly, Katy wasn't an explorer. She was a meme. Her ground-kissing moment was photoshopped into war zones. Her monologues were remixed with reality TV voiceovers. People started calling the crew space tourists in Gucci. Comedians, commentators, and regular viewers alike weren't having it. Joe Rogan called it a performance art. He mocked the emotional monologues and questioned the purpose of the flight. Then came Martha Stewart. Quietly, elegantly, she posted an old clip from 2007, floating in a zero-gravity simulator. No speech, no tears, just vibes. The subtext? You don't have to cry in space to make history. It was the most devastating post of the week. Tim Dillon, sitting across from him, could barely contain his laughter. And Wendy's, the fast food chain known for its sharp-tongued Twitter account, posted the now infamous roast. Can we send her back? Then came the FAA. 2 weeks after the internet exploded, Katy Perry finally spoke. In a statement that sliced through the glittery PR, the Federal Aviation Administration declared that none of the women on board were astronauts. The reason? They hadn't performed any safety-critical tasks. They weren't operating the spacecraft. It was a fully automated ride. Essentially, they were passengers. She admitted she felt battered and bruised by the backlash. She said the online world tried to make her a human piñata, but insisted she was okay, still looking to the light. She shared that she's done a lot of work around knowing who I am, what is real, and what is important to me. She's not perfect, she said. Just a woman playing the game of life with an audience of many. Katy's Kiss the Dirt moment became the internet's favorite prop. Users photoshopped her into war zones, disaster sites, and even onto the surface of Mars. Her tearful expression became a meme template. Her daisy became a punchline. And when the internet becomes a dumping ground for the unhinged and unhealed, she says she responds with grace and love. That part resonated with some. Others rolled their eyes. Memes mocked the idea of calling her crew astronaut sisters. Hashtags like #space tourists and #0G influencer began trending. Social media users began comparing the experience to Disney's Soarin' ride, except with more branding and less thrill. Then came Martha Stewart. Katy's fans rallied. One Brazilian fan group even bought a billboard in Times Square. "You are never alone. Our love for you is boundless." The Queen of Silent Shade posted a video from 2007, her own zero-gravity flight. No monologue, no designer suit, no spiritual breakdown. She floated, smiled, and moved on. The internet applauded. She responded, "I love you guys and have grown up together with you. I'm excited to see you all over the world." Martha didn't need to cry about unity or post quotes about resilience. She simply existed in the moment and let it speak for itself. It was the anti-Katy, and it was devastatingly effective. The gesture was real, but so was the pile-on that came before it. Even singer Lily Allen apologized for joining in, saying she didn't agree with the trip but admitted the criticism had gone too far. 2 weeks after the backlash exploded, Katy broke her silence. The internet coined a new word, fulminism, a blend of feminism and fantasy, where the goal isn't change, but applause, where the trip isn't about breaking barriers, but breaking Instagram. She admitted feeling battered and bruised by the internet's response. She said the online world tried to make her a human piñata. And while the experience hurt, she claimed she had found clarity in the chaos. Critics argued that true space pioneers don't float around in luxury capsules with set lists and selfie cams. They risk their lives. They do the work. I have done a lot of work around knowing who I am, what is real, and what is important to me, she wrote. I'm not perfect. I'm on a human journey, playing the game of life with an audience of many. And sometimes I fall, but I get back up and keep going. The contrast between Katy's branding campaign and the stoic silence of real astronauts made one thing painfully clear. This wasn't a leap for womankind. It was a leap into a PR blender. She went on. When the online world tries to make me a human piñata, I take it with grace and send them love, because I know so many people are hurting in so many ways, and the internet is very much a dumping ground for the unhinged and unhealed. It was one of her rawest statements in years, and it sparked a small but significant shift. Now, Katy's on a world tour. She says she's ready to sing, hug her fans, and keep looking to the light. But the internet hasn't forgotten. The backlash wasn't just about space, it was about timing, tone, and authenticity. It was about billionaires and pop stars selling a message of unity while most people can't afford groceries. Her fans weren't going to let her go down without support. A Brazilian fan group raised funds to rent a massive digital billboard in Times Square for 24 hours. The message, you are never alone. Our love for you is boundless, unwavering, and eternal. It was about the difference between inspiration and insulation, between empowerment and entitlement. Perry responded emotionally, thanking her fans and saying she was grateful to have grown up with them. I love you guys, she wrote, and I'm excited to see you all over the world. Even singer Lily Allen issued a public apology for being mean to Perry, saying the backlash had gone too far. "You don't have to agree with the trip," she said, "but you don't have to join the pile-on either. Once you become the meme, you don't get to pick your orbit." Katy Perry went to space for 11 minutes, but the internet made sure the crash landing lasted a lot longer. Even singer Lily Allen issued a public apology for being mean to Perry, saying the backlash had gone too far. "You don't have to agree with the trip," she said, "but you don't have to join the pile-on either. Once you become the meme, you don't get to pick your orbit." And in a world where legacy can be built or broken by a tweet, one question still floats in the air. But the deeper issue wasn't just Katy, it was the culture surrounding the whole mission. Did she really go to space? Critics coined the term fulmanism, a mashup of feminism and delusion. The accusation that it wasn't about empowerment, but applause. Not about pioneering space, but pioneering press coverage. Or did she just float away from reality? The mission didn't make space more inclusive. It made it look more exclusive. 6 wealthy women floated in a billionaire's capsule while millions watched from below, wondering how they'd pay rent. Katy's flower, her designer boots, the perfectly staged camera shots, none of it felt like progress. It felt like marketing. Now, Katy is hitting the road again. Her tour is underway, with dates across North America, South America, Europe, and the UAE. She says she's focused on seeing fans, singing in unison, and embracing the love. But the Blue Origin flight isn't fading away. The memes continue, the debates linger, the perception remains fractured. Can she recover? Maybe. Katy's career has weathered criticism before, but the space trip left a mark that can't be erased by another pop anthem. You can't manufacture legacy. In the end, Katy Perry didn't go to space. She went into orbit around a billion-dollar branding strategy, a moment of misguided symbolism, and a public that no longer accepts surface-level empowerment wrapped in designer packaging. She's not the villain. But she might be the case study, a pop star chasing relevance, a culture chasing meaning, a moment that revealed just how fragile public trust is when authenticity is traded for airtime. And when you float too far from reality, sometimes the internet becomes your gravity, because once you become the meme, you don't get to decide what orbit you land in.